All right, so first of all, welcome everybody. This is a fun and exciting topic for us to present and share. Our topic is Intro to AI-generated video, and we're gonna explore typical problems our clients say they face when they're building out learning content or content in general, and look at some of the AI-specific tools that we've found that will make your lives easier. It certainly has for us. But before we jump in, I do want to introduce ourselves. I'm Tiffany Kreinbrink, SVP of Customer Experience at Appinium. I've been with Appinium for almost 8 years, and I'm based out of Atlanta. We have Lisa Dubernard from Appinium as well. She's one of our implementation consultants, but years and years of experience developing content and does develop a lot of content for us here at Appinium. And also Teresa Petersen, I thank her for joining us. She is an Appinium customer, and she's the Director of Sales Enablement at Reladyne, and she is practically hands-on using AI to develop content as well. So we're going to give some great real-world experience in this webinar to share. First thing I want to do is just go over a couple of administrative things. One is all attendees are on mute by default so that we can all hear the presentation. If you do have a question, though, we're not going to be using the chat. We're going to be using the Q&A. So please enter your questions in the Q&A, and we'll answer those questions. We do have a Q&A at the end that will take all those questions. So we look forward to hearing what you're thinking. Also, we will share the recording after the session. So stay tuned for that. And if there's anybody that on your team didn't make it, you can always pass that over for them. All right, so taking a look at our agenda, we're expecting 30 minutes of covering the topics that you see here on the agenda and 15 minutes for Q&A. And again, just put the Q&A in the Q&A session rather than in the chat. All right, so how did we get here? The first thing that we did is we asked our customer support managers and our customers, what problems are our customers having related to content? And there are a number of items here that came up, but probably the number one thing that comes up is we don't have enough resources to develop all the content that needs to be developed. And then after we develop it, it also has to be maintained. There's never enough resources to get all of this done. Second is the way that people consume content has changed. Social media has changed how we engage with content, what we expect of content. People expect more interactive, more video-based content. And, a lot of us don't have professional video studios to build content in. We need a way to create high-quality content quick and easy, and we have to be able to maintain it quickly and easily. I would say those are the top two that come to mind, although there are many other items here. Lisa, what are the problems that you're seeing?
Well, I see all of these, because I'm also helping implement some of our clients and also manage a lot of the content for Appinium. I just look at some of the content and I thought, wow, that's just boring, or that could be better. And it takes so long with some of the tools that I had been using to even edit 5 minutes of video to make it not just a headless voice or a long thing, that it was just a struggle to keep up with stuff. And, everybody has a budget that they're trying to do. So we want good stuff. We want it user-facing and friendly to them, and then sometimes even in multiple languages, which is really hard when you got a small team and you want something in Japanese. So I see a lot of these things.
Yeah, and I know you've done research on this. Can you share some of the research that you found?
Yeah, so, because Appinium's platform is very focused on video as a means for learning, I first started looking at any resources related to creating video and how AI might improve the learner's experience. So in doing my research on research, I wanted to highlight some research I found that's out of the University College of London, who is a well-known research institute. And I'm going to show a couple of videos that will demonstrate what the research was about. So basically what they did is they had training videos, and you can see this one here on the screen, training videos and traditionally created with, like, in a studio with a live actor making a presentation using traditional video editing software. Very expensive to do. So let me just play a second or two of this video.
Hello, welcome to the Food Hygiene Level 3 training course. This course is specifically designed to make you competent in maintaining impeccable hygiene standards when working with food. If you follow the things we...
So I'll go ahead and stop that. Now, what they did to compare is they took that same video and they recreated it using AI. So here is an AI version of that same video.
Hello, welcome to the Food Hygiene Level 3 training course. This course is specifically designed to make you competent in maintaining impeccable hygiene standards when working with food. So
they allowed their people who were studying to take the content using both means, the original with a live actor and this AI generated content, and they got a lot of results on what the user experience was.
Hello, welcome.
So let me take you through this first question they asked. Was learning through AI video better than learning from text? To me, that's a no-brainer. Yes, I think we are now in the world of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and many of us do prefer to learn via media like this versus just through text. So it's not surprising that 77% of people actually prefer learning through AI video versus just purely text. But then this gets even more interesting. So they said, well, would you prefer a human speaker or an avatar speaker? Well, people normally say, yeah, I would really prefer a human. But when you look at the recall and recognition scores between the two, whether they understood it, etc., the content, it was basically identical. The human instructor versus the AI-generated results were basically the same. Of course, that's all going to depend on the quality of the avatars. And then the last one, and there's a lot more than just these three, but I just wanted to pull three of them out, is how much time did it take them to complete, meaning to understand the content? And basically what this study said is users spent 20% less time taking the training course when they were watching the AI-generated video than the human-generated video. And which is like, what does this even mean? Well, this means, at least to me, and I'll extrapolate to how I feel about it, is when I use AI to create video, my videos are much more succinct in how I deliver the messages, because I can keep editing it down and down and down until it just really hits it right. So imagine if your learners could learn content in 20% less time. What's that going to mean for your organization? They have to spend 20% less time absorbing new content or learning new facts. So those are some things I really wanted to make sure that we had looked at before we continue looking at specific tools.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's huge. You know, none of us have more time, you know, extra time in our calendar to just play around with. So we are trying to get more things done with less time. And, you know, when you think about the number of people in an organization, if you can save, you know, 10% on training, 20% on time to train, those numbers get really big, really fast, very quantifiable results. And the fact that people are not disengaging with AI, but they're actually engaging with AI, that would surprise me. I thought there would be a distinct advantage of a direct person versus an AI. So, you know, really interesting findings. It's good to see actual tests being done on this so that we're making our decisions on what to do based on, you know, actual results. So I know, Lisa, you have been using AI tools to help build content faster and better. Can you talk about, you know, what you've been doing?
Right. Well, again, because I was looking at creating video content primarily, I was looking at some of these use cases you're seeing here. Sometimes people would provide me a PDF or a link to a website or a PowerPoint document, and I want to somehow magically turn that into a very short video. That was one use case I had. Another one was I needed to take some video content and get a transcription off of it or turn that into another language. Maybe creating a podcast from content. That's another use case I was exploring. Using AI to help me write assessment questions, because you can provide content to people, but do they get it? Do they just push play and walk away, or do they understand it? And sometimes it just takes a lot of time for these assessment questions to be written. And I was just finding there are so many tools out there that I can just feed it in some content and say, can you write me 5 multiple choice questions? And it would do that for me. Now, I don't have to take them as is. I can still tweak them, but at least it gets me started. But the main thing I was finding I loved doing was creating videos with these AI avatars or narrators. Because as you can probably hear from my voice, I'm not 25 years old, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and it sounds like that's where I'm from. And I want to relate to my users. If they want to hear someone with a British accent, because that sounds cooler or more like them, I want to be able to do that. If I want to be a young man, boom, I can write a script and now it's someone different. So those are kind of the things that I was looking at. The other thing I was also looking at are the avatars any good? Do they really look like robots, or do they look like humans? Are they expressive? Can they, if I'm talking about something sad, can they sound sad? Can they sound excited? How much control do I have over their inflection of what they say and how they say it? Or do they make crazy errors that is so obvious that it's an avatar? So these are the tools that I started exploring. Some of you guys may be familiar with all of these or some of these or none of those. And I'm not trying to say this is the one you need to have, but I did make a decision in my particular case to go primarily with the Synthesia tool to help me do my work. Although I do have Camtasia as well, and I use Camtasia to create more of the purely video editing things, because it's much more powerful on all those types of things.
So, AI seems like it's magic, right? Like all these things it can do and how fast it can do it, way faster than what we can do it, at a higher quality even. So, Lisa, do you say, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to get replaced by AI? And what do you see? How do you feel?
You know what? I will just say I'm a kid in a candy store with all of this. I mean, I almost feel like I'm Steven Spielberg, where I get to direct all the actors. So I'm not really afraid of it at all. I think it's more empowering to me. I think I would be more afraid of not learning it, and someone else who does it better or knows AI better than me can do it then. So I think it really democratizes who all can be a creator, but you still need to have some kind of pedagogical background to understand, the day in the life of what that person needs to learn.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I mean, when you have the knowledge of a new tool, that actually creates power. So I can see where you're coming from. Okay, so now we've talked about all the ways that you can use AI and some of the tools and what they can do. Can you show us some of the AI avatar tools that you've been using and what it looks like when you create something?
Yeah, so first I want to kind of go through the use cases of where I'm using it, because it can be used in so many different ways. And let's just look at this 1, 2, 3. When I'm creating structured learning, like a learning plan or a course, and I want part of that course is going to be video, I want to be able to create video that can maybe be embedded into rich text or have its own learning object, maybe a 5-minute tutorial on how to do something. Or maybe a little about video, like about this learning plan, to motivate someone to say, oh, yeah, I really want to take that. So the structured learning is primarily a place I was starting with. But also on-demand video. So it could be as simple as a new feature or a communication out, or putting some of this content into media catalogs for people to find, like a YouTube. And then the third thing, I kind of jumbled all these up into an other, but what I'm finding is this same piece of media I can put in structured learning and on-demand learning, I can also embed into a knowledge-based article. So I can take one piece of media that I've done one place and use it in multiple places. I could send out this video to someone who's having issues. Here, watch this. And they can get an email from me and click and launch it and see how to do something. Or if I want to send out a newsletter, and we do have a monthly newsletter at Appinium, instead of hoping people will come into the community to consume media, I can send it out as a part of a newsletter. So I am using videos in all of these. And I wanted you to see, like, what does that look like? So here's an example of a learning plan. And this woman here, you can see her, she's an avatar, and her name is Lisa. That's not me, but I'm pretending it is because she has this great British accent. And she's overviewing what learning tracks are. So I just tell her what to say, and she says it. It's awesome. Another thing could be taking that same piece of media on how to use rich text and embedded it into the knowledge base article. So a similar piece of media with this young lady speaking about, you know, how she uses it. Another thing, and this one is something that's kind of new that I was looking at, was using more than one avatar to create a dialogue. Now, this is so cool. I saw a course that, or a webinar that Synthesia did about this. I thought, oh gosh, I have to do this. So it could be a problem solution. So the lady on the left is asking a question. I need to know how to do this thing, and the guy on the right is saying how to do it. So it can be a problem, a sales conversation, scenarios for, you know, showcasing role plays, handling difficult conversations, objection handling, conflict resolution, what to do, what not to do, a podcast. It's just such a natural way for users to engage with the content than just one narrator. It's more like listening to a conversation. It's more fun, more casual, and you can put multiple characters on the same screen at the same time, like one person's calling in, or even like a Brady Bunch style. So this is an area that I'm just starting to explore. These screenshots are just maybe we want to send out release notes, a really quick synopsis of what's out in this release, or a feature we want to, you know, feature. It's a featured feature that you can put in there to say, here's a new thing that you should know about. Again, adding FAQs. If we have a lot of questions that are coming up, we can have an avatar ask the question, and then one of our internal avatars answer the question. And again, welcome videos onto the About section of our learning plan. I find it helpful. So those are some things I wanted to share, but I know we have Teresa here, and I'll turn that back over to you to talk to Teresa.
Perfect. So Teresa, we are excited because we've talked a lot, about what we're doing at Appinium and how we're using AI, but we'd love to hear your story.
Well, thanks for having me. Welcome, everybody. So I've worked for 25 years in the same industry, but always on the sales side or sales operations side. 2 years ago, my company was purchased by a much larger company, and I left the branch for the corporate location. Still on the sales operations side, but the first thing that I noticed was that our training lacked. There was just a lack of training. So I yelled about that for several years, and then this last year, they changed my title from operations to sales enablement and gave me the training platform, which was exactly what I asked for, but I had no experience in it. So I'm very thankful for Lisa, because the one thing, as I recognized that we needed a lot of content and a lot of training, the one thing that I was kind of paralyzed over was I didn't want my face on camera. I didn't want my voice on camera. I am a department of one, so I'm a director with no direct reports. I own the enablement of the sales and customer service in a very large company. So the creation or the utilization of these AI tools have been a game changer for me. I went from feeling very paralyzed to just jumping in, and I chose HeyGen just because there's only we have so much content to create, and I think Synthesia kind of limited me to how many hours of production I could have in a year. and knowing as much as I need to create, I will blow by those limits. But I do have a free Synthesia account, and I like using both platforms. They were both very user friendly, and it allowed me just to jump in and start creating. I'm not a girl who spends much time watching how-to videos. I just want my hands on it, and I want to figure it out as I go. So I think both platforms allow for you just to jump in. So that's a little bit about me and why I ended up here and connected with Lisa.
Awesome. So, Teresa, have you found any, particular insights that you'd like to show us? Here's what I used it for. Here's the results that I'm getting from it. And maybe some screenshots of what that looks like for you.
So right now, Lisa's showing a screenshot of one of my very first learning plans that I created. And right now I'm very limited to how I'm utilizing it. I was very interested on how the different applications Lisa was using it for. Right now, they're just all of my how-to and introduction videos into how to use what we now call Sales Academy, the Appinium platform. So I'm pretty basic, but I have been taking some courses through HeyGen, and they just upgraded they've got a new editor where they can allow the 2 avatars and better automation. So I hope to get more into that knowledge base, because that's what my company is really lacking, is the knowledge base, which right now we can PDF them and PowerPoint them to death. So I'm still a very, very new user, like a couple months into it, but they've been a lot of fun, just creating the basic how-to with PowerPoints.
Awesome.
Yeah, and this is just a screenshot of the video coaching submission along with that. So no, it's been a lifesaver as far as being able to, and I have started using the Camtasia, and Camtasia has that Audiate platform, which again, then you can record what's going on your screen. You can talk through it and then pull it into Audiate, and then they have avatars that can do a voiceover for your voice as you went through screenshots or navigating your desktop. So those are the 2 platforms that I use the most.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Teresa, thanks so much for sharing your experience. And now I'd like to ask Lisa, would you give us a really quick demo of one of the tools that you use?
Yeah, and I know that we are running really fast on time, so I'm going to give you the speedy version of it. So what I'm showing you here is Synthesia, and this is my home page. And you can see here I've made a lot of content here. But when you are starting to create content, you can start with a template or a blank canvas. You can use an AI assistant. You can import a PowerPoint, all of those things. And I've done all of them. And then once you kind of have one that you like, you can duplicate it and then change out the stuff. But I do want to call your attention to this one over here. This one is called Empowering Public Defenders with Appinium. And let me kind of go over a couple of screens over. You see this PDF here? I made this PDF in conjunction with one of our clients. And it's a PDF. It's got, mostly words in it. So what I did with this is I went to this AI assistant and I uploaded the PDF in here and chose a template, all right? Now I'm going to show you what it came out with. And it comes out like this. So this is, and I chose a different avatar. I uploaded their logo, but this is what it ends up looking like. I wanted a lawyer because it's a public defender. And he looks kind of like a lawyer to me. And I don't think I would look like a lawyer, so I'll just play a second or two of this one.
The Indiana Public Defender Council, who serves all public defenders in the state, needed a one-stop shop web portal to provide its members with essential training and resources.
So I'll go ahead and stop that. But that was so helpful to me because I just imported it. I chose a template. Here's another one with that same template, chose a different avatar, And then once it creates a script for you, it creates the scenes for you, it creates the slides for you. But then you can go in and tweak it if you want it to sound less salesy or have a little bit more stuff. In fact, I turned this over to the Indiana Public Defenders to look at it. He goes, "Can you tone it down a bit?" I'm like, yeah, I'll tone it down. So I edited the word, sent it back to him, and he says, "Good to go." So those are some features I really wanted you to know of. You can make, and you don't even have to use these avatars. You can actually create a selfie avatar. So if you do like to be on camera and you do want to have your own voice, you can make your own avatar of yourself. And so you can make a personal avatar, or an avatar of your sales leader, or an avatar of your CEO. And so you can see that they have so many different choices of pre-made avatars, or you can make your own. And these examples here of avatars are ones that were designed to be conversational. So you'll say in scene 1, he's talking, in scene 2, she's responding. So, and they're getting better every day. They're more and more expressive, meaning that when they speak, they sound like natural humans. Their hands move naturally. They can be walking. It's just pretty amazing. So that's a little bit about Synthesia. Tiffany, do you want me to drop right over to a little HeyGen?
I think so, because we're running, short on time. That'd be great.
So HeyGen, very similar platform, and I like it too. It just, I chose one, she chose the other, but they're both very awesome platforms. One thing that drove me not crazy, but in a good way, was I actually uploaded this video that I had built in another platform and said, make this into Japanese for me. And listen to this, it's just crazy.
オピニウムは4つの主要な分野で多くの組織に使用されています。人材の強化、収益の強化。
So, I mean, I don't speak Japanese, but it sounds Japanese to me, and then I could send it to someone. Many of these platforms do have an integration, so someone can make comments on it and make changes to it. So that's awesome as well. And then the third thing I wanted to show before I turn it back over to Tiffany is this new tool. You may have heard of this. It's called NotebookLM. It's part of Google, and it's free. And I've been playing with this. I hadn't used it too much, but you can create a notebook, which I've made 4. And then on the notebook, you can add a source, which I had in a video, a blog, and a web page. And I can say, make a briefing document. Narrow this down for me. Make a note. I could say, make 5 multiple choice questions out of this. I could say, make an audio podcast. So if you say, click here on load, it will make a podcast, basically consolidating all of this content into a conversation between 2 fake people, and then you can download that and use that for training material. So it's not, it doesn't have as much control as I want. Like, I can't say exactly how long I want it to, and I can't edit what they say, but I'll play a few seconds of this.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another deep dive.
Yes.
And today we're diving deep into the world of customer support, but we're tackling a really...
So I'll go ahead and stop there. But that just tells you things are moving so fast, and it's just a wonderful way to really, take advantage of what's out there and do more with less.
Honestly, it's every time I see this, you have new use cases every single time. I love it. It's like opening little presents at Christmas time. So cool, so fun for you to explore all these new options on how to make us content better, faster, more interactive. So I think, Lisa, that concludes everything we were planning to show for today, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so this is the time we'd like to open up for Q&A. We do have a couple of questions, and I did launch a poll there that should be popping up for you so that you can, answer those while we go through the Q&A. One of the questions we got was, can you share? Like, this sounds awesome. I'd like to learn more about it. can you share some documentation or where we can get training? Please.
Yes, let me go over to this page here. So if you go into our community and you go to the on-demand section, we have a new topic, and it is called AI. And when you get to that, we have a playlist of basically videos that I curated that I learned from, like, you know, how to create an AI video in 4 minutes with Synthesia. Another thing that I really, really, really love is this model called FOCA. The FOCA model really teaches me how to develop training content using this model. For example, in the FOCA model, it says, like, every 20 seconds, you should switch things up, like maybe make the narrator move from one side or the other, or have a text move on the screen, or change scene, and this keeps the users more engaged. Because even with the AI avatars, you can have a 20-minute video with its head in the bottom corner, and it's still boring. So I would definitely recommend that if you are an Appinium user, go into our community, and to access the FOCA certification course, it's currently right now the last item in this playlist, and you can watch and see what FOCA is, and then click on the link to get the certification. And I would like to take it over and over again, because like many people, I can't apply everything I learned in one time, but I can take one or two things away and try that. And then I'll go back and try another few things. So these are some things I would recommend going ahead into our community and kind of exploring some of these videos.
So that's for any of you that are current customers. I do see some people on here that names that I don't recognize that may not be current customers. So Lisa, what if they don't have access to our community, can they get to any of this content?
Yeah, I mean, you could go, if you go to the HeyGen site or the Synthesia site, they have blogs and they have training academies. Most of that content I got was from there anyway. So it's all free content. I just kind of curated it in our community for those of you who don't have time to kind of poke around on your own.
Perfect. There's a question of, can we get a list of the platforms mentioned? Maybe we could type those into the Q&A while I move to the next question. Will links to the options be shared? Okay, so if you're an Appinium customer, you'll have access to our community, and you'll be able to go to that AI catalog, and then you'll be able to get to all of that content. And the two tools that we really highlighted today, Synthesia and HeyGen, are, you know, if you just Google them online, you'll be able to go directly to their site and see those two options that we've talked a lot about today. Another question is for Teresa. How much does the HeyGen tool cost?
So I got 2 licenses, and each one of them probably were around that $600 mark for a year, but with unlimited minutes as far as content development. Okay,
and I know you're still early in your development. Any gauge on how much time you think it's saving you?
Well, right now I'm a little bit slower than I'd want to, but I could probably do a 10-minute video or a 7-minute video in under an hour. So I'm still slow, but it's going faster. I look back at what I did 30 days ago, and it's so much faster, and it's a little bit tricky just to get the avatar to and then see the words like you want them to. So you learn how to play with the words or how to spell phonetically so that they say things right, especially if your company or your industry uses kind of slang words or their own terminology, figuring out how to utilize it. So it's saving me a lot of time because we all work remotely, so I don't have a group of resources to go to videotape customer service doing a process. So it saves a lot of time, and I'm getting better at it every time I create a video.
Perfect. All right. And then I'll ask Lisa on the Synthesia side. Can you tell us what you're paying for Synthesia?
Well, I got my first license in January. I was playing with the free version up until then. So I got my first starter kit license. It was about $200 for a year, but it was for, I think, 120 minutes. And I blew through that pretty fast. And so I was like, okay. But I will say that secondarily, different people on the team were going, can you make this? Can you make that? So more people were coming to me with more stuff to do. And I'm like, all right, so we're going to need to have more licenses. So I think that it's about like $600 to $800 a year for maybe like 3 hours worth of video. And that doesn't sound like a lot of hours, but my videos average about 2 minutes a piece. I'm not trying to make, Star Wars, even though I pretend like I am, Spielberg or no, it wasn't Spielberg. Who was the Star Wars guy? George Lucas. I'm not George Lucas, but I do try to make my videos short, intentionally short. I want to have micro learning videos, and it actually helps me make my videos short. Who wants to sit through webinars? But that's the thing. People do want, depending on what their use case is, sometimes it's like 10 minutes is the max, sometimes 2 minutes. Sometimes I will watch a 30-minute video. So it really just depends on what I'm trying to learn. So that is how much Synthesia is costing me. And then there is, if you are a big corporate company, there are group plans. If you have multiple users and you want to collaborate in a space, they actually have a corporate plan as well.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Another question is, can you make these videos in the context of nonprofit marketing and fundraising?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that most of mine were like how-tos, like what is this thing or how does this work? But you could absolutely make, promotional videos, like, you choose a character and they could tell their story of how they have succeeded, or be an example of a student that succeeded, or one of your nonprofit participants, how they succeeded, so that the users see themselves and see how they could succeed. Sometimes it's hard to get actual real people on camera to do that. It's expensive, but if you could have an AI avatar that represents them, this would be an awesome way to get these people who are used to learning and seeing through videos, sending it out through socials. I mean, you don't just have to do it through, Appinium for learning. You can take this piece of content, flip it where it's tall versus wide, and pop it on TikTok. There's no reason why you can't do that.
Absolutely. One of the things that surprised me, I can't remember, Lisa, how long have you been using Synthesia? For 6 months, maybe now?
Yeah, maybe 6 months. I was using other tools before that was more like cartoon characters, and that doesn't go very well depending on the audience. That people don't like the cartoon characters. Some people do, but this is so realistic. Honestly, I don't think people can know it's not a real person.
What really surprised me was, since you've been doing it for 6 months, and by the way, this is just a sideline to Lisa's job. This is not her main job. When you go into our community now, which is where our customers go to find content and learn about Appinium, and what I am really surprised about is how quickly she's using different avatars, different faces, different voices. And like, if you go through our content, it looks like we have a team of people that are, making content for us. And it's just Lisa. And so it's really powerful what she's created. So if you haven't gone into our community, if you're a current customer, definitely go look at the content, because it's really amazing what she's been able to produce in such a short period of time. Okay, so let's see. We're just about out of time. I don't see any open questions at this stage, so I'm going to say thank you so much, Lisa and Teresa, for both sharing your insights of what you're doing today and where you're heading in the future. I can't wait to hear how people start to use this and where this goes, because it is going to be absolutely amazing. So we're going to be sending out a follow-up email with a link to this, if I do this right, with the webinar follow-up. So if you want to come back and rewatch anything, you certainly can. But Again, thank you guys for joining us. I really hope this has helped you, and go create some awesome content. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.